It's a really great pleasure to present this event to y'all. Actually, in a regular educational purpose, we are sharing a educational content regarding lead guidance and well AP guidance and some valuable things. In the same way, today we are going to cover about lead fit out. Actually, in lead interior fit out, there are some things need to be considered by architect and the CFO because the architect is going to in charge for the design and the CFOs are going to have to funding. So these are the things we are going to cover because in general the thing about lead will come later. At a time, it's have a more consequence. What are the things we need to consider? What is the budget we need to consider? Lot of consequence will happen. Due to that, we just present this presentation just to aware about what are the things you need to consider while designing the or interior fit out project. Okay. Then it's a general reminder to you all. First of all, we came to know that some of the persons in a Zoom have different names other than your actual names. Kindly keep your actual name, then we can issue a certificate in a same name. Okay. Thanks for your all coming. Okay. Let's move on to the presentation. Okay. First of all, the interior fit outs in lead have different certification. The interior fit outs means it's a general phenomenon now because every IT giants are ready to take a fit out instead of building a new entire building. In a previous 20 years, everyone is ready to build his own campus and own building with multiple things. After the flood and PC Kappan and the financial commitments, everyone is ready to occupy a new fit out with their own design because when you take to the new building, we can't able to change the design again and again. Now there is a scope for change the design, change the place, and change the size. Everything is possible. So now the fit outs jobs and the fit out designs are moreover available in the industry. Okay. Okay. Let's move on to the things. What are the things generally available in interior design and construction? Actually, in general terms, it's known as interior fit out. But as per the lead, it's known as interior design and construction. Actually, interior design and construction. Okay. Then the first thing is integrative process. Actually, integrative process is just like that, at the time of consideration or at the time of lead initiation or project initiation, you need to include every one of your project number. In general practice, the stakeholders or investor, it's ready to go with the architect and finalize the design and go to civil and go to MEP and go to green consultants. In this process, there are a lot of consequences because architect have something different in mind. He have a different authority and he have already designed the building, the entire building. Civil engineer is thinking about the structural way. The architect is thinking in an aesthetic way. Lead engineer is thinking in a sustainable way. And the electrical engineer is thinking somehow in a safety manner. So everyone is supposed to be involved in the design process and go. Then only the entire building will be suitable for the all concerned, the health concern, environmental concern, and the strength concern. Everyone will be concerned. Okay. Then the location and transportation, where the building is located. Here there is no much scope about the design and construction. It's about the thinking and location of our project. Then the water efficiency is already well known. Dual flushes and saving energy is already well known about everyone who is attending our regular workshop because energy we are already dealing with the energy star equipment, LED lights. And the material resource is somewhat new for some people because in everything is thinking the material is only about the durability and the lookability. But here we are considered something new. It's simply known as EPD. It means Environmental Product Declaration Policy and the recycled content and its rapidly renewable natures and what are the volatile organic compounds available in the material and the urea, formaldehyde. These things will be considered because it's have a health concern and the raw material resource concern. And then the indoor environmental quality is the main thing because in the indoor environmental, the two things are considered. First one, the clean air, the productivity things, the daylight, and there are some VOC component, everything, and the interior lighting design. Design means not a electrical way, in a lux level way, everything will be considered because in the interior fit-out design, the architect have a main soul and the core. The reason is because the architect is going to design what are the windows is going to, how the aesthetic view, how the shading is come, everything will be come here because the interior fit outs generally it's for IT companies and offices because in here everyone is need to think about productivity. The productivity is not like that we need to take a lift more kgs of weight. It's about the thinking process, the way of thinking, smart thinking, lateral thinking, everything is available. But the main content in here is you need to have a great concern about the occupant comfort and its quality. The innovations is somewhat about how we think about the environment and everything. Regional priorities are something like that. Based on the area, there are some environmental and social concerns and the problems are there. How the project is having a solution for that. This kind of things will come. In general practice, the first one is location and transportation. Here, everyone think this is for the lead building. Actually, this is just that these are the buildings available. In this building, which one you supposed to choose? The answer is next. Which are lead, core, and shell? Actually, lead, core, and shell is somewhat the interior rating available in a lead in design and construction. In that lead building design and construction, there are some rating only for core and shell. Actually, you are going to occupy a building. Here, the entire base building will be having a certification regarding a lead. If you locate your building if you locate your fit out in this building means, we can definitely get up some points in location and transportation. In general, the core and shell building have some concern about the water and energy. Everything will be concerned. Then the lead core, some prerequisite, this is what I already tell. Then the location and transportation. Actually, in general, the location and transportation is just like that. There are some basic amenities and things. In general practice, everyone is thinking that if we locate a project in a village, it will be sustainable. But the thing is, it's not really sustainable. The village is having a different sustainability, like that. More open diversity is there, open space is there. You can protect, restore habitat, local habitat, everything. But here the issue is actually in general, if you look at office in a town, the basic amenities and the travel and everything will be available in a locality. For example, if you have grocery shop in a 2 kilometer means in a village, you just need to walk. If you located in a town, you can't able to walk in village because you need to take a two-wheeler for getting basic amenities. In a town, the thing is the traffic and everything is there. So everyone is thinking, just go walk and get some vegetables and go for movie and everything in a walkable distance. So in lead, there is a requisite told that all the basic amenities supposed to be located within a 800-meter radius. Because in general practice, we can easily walk around 400 to 800 meter in a town. It's already have a health concern. And in the same way, if you take a travel, definitely it will emit a carbon dioxide and GHG emissions. The world is already having more polluted and warming. The COP26, lot of sustainable things are having, and everyone is thinking about controlling emission. So here, lead is having the same control. That's why we are recommended to build an office in a metropolitan city and heart of the city. Definitely, there are some more concerns, but in location and transportation concern, you need to consider this way. Then this is what we already discussed: the dense area surrounded by basic amenities and the frequent transport facilities. Everyone will be happy. Okay, so these are the things we discussed. Then the bicycle facilities. In general practice, it's not only your side. The base builder need to consider. In general, if you have 1,000 occupant, we need to provide minimum 50% of the parking space for the long-term bicycles and 2.25 for 1,000. You need to provide 25 for short-term bicyclists, and it's supposed to be located within 100 feet distance. It's changing based on short-term and long-term for entry type. Then the water efficiency. In general, the water scarcity is not more available in some cities, but some of the Indian cities and other cities are having more water scarcity. And some of the, because in the entire world, there are 1 to 1.5% will be clean and sanitized water. The water is the main concern in a lead from at the time of the forming the lead. Here, you need to know one thing. First of all, the entire fittings and everything will be comes under the builder scope only. So that's what we first told. If you located your building or if you fitted your interior fit out in a lead core and shell building, you don't have to worry about these things, because in a lead core and shell, they will consider definitely a water efficient fixtures. So in this case, you can get this point. Otherwise, you will change, or at the time of you are going to occupy, you need to insist to your base builder, you need to consider the dual flush water closet, water efficient fixtures with the aerators and waterless urinals, and you need to retreat the STP and everything. Because if you locate in a base building with LEED certification, you don't need to worry about that. But if it's not means, definitely you need to worry and you need to give the advice to your base builder at the time of design stage, that because this is the easy process. Then the energy efficiency. Actually, energy efficiency part, everyone is talking about in the same way. Here, lead also, we are talking about the energy efficiency part. In the energy efficiency part, the first one will be commissioning. Why everyone is talking about commissioning? Because we are designing a project for a certain level. We need to check whether it is achievable or not. And after the construction end, we need to check whether it's achieved or not. Everything is checked. In the general practice, we came to know that in the electrical distribution and everything, as per our Indian government, if you transmit 100 kilowatt from generated place or the electricity producer place, at the receiver end, it will reach only 79%. The 21% will be lost due to inefficiency and improper circulation and improper machine design, due to worst maintenance, everything. All the things will be covered in the entire commissioning. In commissioning, there are standard called ASHRAE 0 2005 and ASHRAE 1.1 2007. In here, we have most of the scope are mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Actually, in other buildings, there are more scope of utility and STP and everything. Here, it's only interior fit out project. So we have only listed out these three. In these three are having some concern about, only have some concern. The reason is the base builder have a more rules, more responsibility, because if you locate an office, the chiller will be responsible under the high-end operation will be under the base builder only. Here we can have a great indoor design, and here you can have energy efficient indoor design. These are the thing will be covered here. In the main part about the commissioning is it have more thing about how the owner like CFO and architect have a concern. What are the things at the time of consideration? All the things, the considered thing will be happened or not, whether these are included in design, everything will come. For example, the first document in the commissioning is owner project requirement. Owner is maybe an architect, he may be some facility team, he may be an investor, he may be a CFO. He have a owner project requirement. Then the consultant or designer will give you a report based on design document. The commissioning agent will take a responsibility to check the design, and at the time of implementation, everything will cover. It's a mandatory system. You can't be able to tell, we have maintained everything. You need to definitely do that. Otherwise, you can't get a rating in a minimum certified level. You may get 80 plus points. It's maybe a platinum, but you didn't get a certificate. The reason is the commissioning is a mandatory points. Then we go to the minimum energy performance. If you take any interior fit out, it may be IT or any campus, the 54% will be HVAC, because in a general IT practice, 1% each square feet will consume about 6 to 8 watts. In that, the 1 to 2 watts will from lighting and process everything. The 4 to 5 watts per square feet will be come from HVAC, because the reason is in IT industry, everything will be a system-oriented process. Everything will be automated process. Here, the cooling and HVAC is definitely needed. Otherwise, it will burst. It will give you different issues. The reason why the data centers and IT campus are air conditioning. The air conditioning may be not good for the environment and everything. There are some harmful effects are there. However, you need to maintain the proper temperature to keep our building always cool, to maintain the equipment in a correct accuracy and frequency. Okay. Then additional thing is lighting. The lighting may be from 3 to 14%. The reason why it may be reduced or increased is based on how you utilize the daylight or not. In some cases, due to the building facade may be oriented in a west and east side more, means we can't able to use the daylight because of the glare and some kind of issues. Then the 21% will be come under equipment load. The equipment loads are such as the loads which are computers, servers, and the printer and the kitchen equipment, everyone. Then the others like the plug load, we are using chargers and some heating equipments, everything will be come here. Then how to make the energy responsible and reduce the energy and get points. Actually, in general practice, you are going to purchase a printer or anything. It must be, if it may be a printer or everything, it must be efficient one. Efficient means, how efficient means, it's supposed to prove that it's energy star rated. For example, if you're going to purchase a fan, The fan must be doubly energy rated fans are available. In general, the LEDs are energy efficient compared with incandescent lamp and CFL and T5 lights. So you go with the entire LED. Now the technologies are more moving because before 3 years, everyone thinks LED is efficient. We go with LED, we will save enormous of power. But now the thing is, the LEDs are available in a different range. Per watts, it will give a 80 lumens. It's a base case. Now per watts, it will give about 100 to 125 lumens. It means that if you give a same watt and get 50% extra output, you need to concern about that. The best thing about lead is the industrial efficient practice will be standard practice within 5 years. It's also incorporate because in lead first they are given as a mandatory, then they are given as a credit. The same way the lead is updating the lead efficient measures to in a previous rating system, it may be a efficient measure. In this rating system, it may be a base case or a minimum standard practice. These kind of things are major things. Then in a HVAC, you need to have the incorporate with the IoT system because IoT system is available for the lighting and HVAC and artificial intelligence are available. Everything you need to incorporate and save the energy. And you need to have a great management for managing your HVAC system with VAV boxes. And you need to provide fresh air with fresh air, not only a fresh air fan with cooling device like treater fresh air unit or energy recovery ventilator, because some of the cooling energy may be going as a wasted or direct heat energy will come, means it's also give adequate fresh air cooling requirement. To avoid this, you need to cool and give the fresh air, and at the same time cooling your fresh air, you just utilize the air you are going to exhaust it, because the exhaust air will have enormous amount of cooling energy. If you exhaust and mix it with your fresh air, means definitely it will be cool. Then you need to incorporate CO2 sensor to avoid where there is no person. Mean the CO2 sensor will, and the motion sensor will detect and cut off the values, and the temperature cutoff will work, and economics will be incorporated. Most of the technologies that these things are already discussed in everywhere. That's why we don't go much on that. Then the CFC and HFC. Yes, actually, this is a major threat. Now, the HVAC industry, as per the Montreal Protocol, they have a greater knowledge to avoid CFC and HFC free refrigeration. CFC and HFC recruitment, because now the entire AC will come with R410A, 407A, or 134N, or 134A in chillers, and in a Daikin we recently saw that R32 is a refrigerant. Usually it's costly and does not have any much global warming potential. So in general practice, the ozone layer depletion is a main practice. You need to minimum 0 or maximum some levels only we can allow. So the best thing is R134A and R32 refrigerant may be used. In the same way, some fire existing equipments are having halogen gases. Actually, this is also harmful and creating more heat to environment and global warming, greenhouse gassing effects, everything will happen. To avoid this, just avoid the CFC and HCFC free refrigerants. To avoid CFC and HCFC refrigerant. Actually, in the general practice, we generally recommend that go with natural ventilation, evaporative cooling methods. But in air conditioning spaces, you need to maintain two things. First one is you need to maintain the temperature. Second one, you need to relative humidity. If you go with the evaporative cooler and some passive cooling design, you can't able to maintain the humidity. If there is a more humidity available in the air, definitely it will harmful to your motherboards and the computer. That's why we are recommending air conditioning with minimum harmful to environment. Send the energy meter, because whenever you are measuring something or having a monitor or review, then only it will perform in a perfect way. The thing is that the manufacturer or supplier will give you with some design or some consideration of energy consumption. Then you need to meterize. Then only you can come to know whether it is perform or not. There are some other concerns are available. You need to keep a reading for 3 years. You need to keep a reading for every hour with its demand kilowatt and the consumption, everything. Here, you need to share the reading to the lead authorities also. Everything will be comes here. Okay. So the energy meters are mandatory in lead. In general, the base builder have a energy meter. You need to have a different energy meter in a fit out level. Then the renewable energy, because however we are going to save energy, we may minimize, we may optimize everything. However, we are going to some amount of energy, because you may use any kind of water, but drinking, definitely you are going to consume some water. At the time of after the drinking, we need to definitely consume some amount of water again. We can't able to use the reuse water. In the same way, you may do anything. Definitely, you are going to use some amount of electricity. Without electricity, we can't able to survive a single minute. This is a fact. So here we need to do a source regulation, right? That we have two options. You may do a renewable energy with your own and get some percentages there for it. It's not only for connected load; it's for the energy consumption. So the percentages of real time is vary. This is a percentage for the energy consumption basis. Okay, so don't confuse with thing. Okay, but the intent is same. You need to provide renewable energy, or you need to get a carbon neutral certificate. The renewable energy certificates are just like that. You need to get from who using a clean energy have a credit, carbon credits. You need to purchase a carbon credit. In renewable energy, you can have options both on-site and off-site. On-site means you may produce the renewable energy in your rooftop. The off-site means you may do some solar park or wind energy in outside your campus or some rural areas. Then the material resource. This is the main topic we need to discuss because everyone is having concern about your material. Everyone having concern about water, energy, and everything. But no one is having a well awareness about material resource because material resource. First of all, we need to have a great storage and collection system for material. And the thing is, why we need to separate here by 4 pins. The reason is if you segregate the thing, then only you can come to know what are the things are possible for reuse and reduce and recycle and what are the waste are generated. It's like a metering only. Then only we can easily do what are the things you need to do. In here, we need to have a separate bin for e-waste and mercury content waste and everything. So this is a construction and indoor air quality management. Here, the common construction, why these are the common construction? Because in general, you may only consider the bricks and metal and metal rods. In here, these are not a major part. The reason is here you are going to concern only the interior parts. The entire core and shell, the building will be ready. Here you are going to design your interior as per your wanted or as per your mind design. Here you are going to only use the partitions and some structures looking the aesthetic way only you are going to work. So you are going to use more plywood and metal and gypsum board, glass, wood, plastic. In general, the glass and the plywood and wood and gypsum board is mostly humans because you have a grade 10 to 20,000 base building. In here, you just need to parties. You just to make a partition for open office, for CFO offices, for consultant office, and everything will be partitioned. Then these are the major. So in here, we need to do only. First, we need to minimize the usage by using the old materials. Then reuse where there is a possibility. Then you need to recycle where there is a possibility. You need to send it to recycle station. These are the consideration. This is a basic intent. In here, we are going with what are the things we need to consider for getting credit. What are the major points of leads? Then first thing, actually, why we are mentioning 10 years? Because we come to know with some tech giants, everyone have an agreement for only 5 years. Because they think in a 5 years, the economy may change or in a COVID like diseases may come. These kind of things are generally in their mind. And they are making only 5-year contract with the base builder. In here, we are recommend for 10 years. The reason is, no, everyone have a different opinion and different design of office. No one is ready to occupy the old office or old design because in the same way the design are elevated. In the same way, people minds are changing in a second to second. In here, why we are telling 10 years? If first we convey clearly, no one is ready to occupy the old design. So they are going to change. If you do it for 10 years, you can't be able to go anywhere. In the same way, you don't need to demolish the everything. The first reason is when you're going to move to new place, definitely you're going to build a new interior fit out. In the same way, someone will come to your place. What he will do? He is do the same thing. He will demolish the entire thing and make it as a new. What will happen? You need to make new materials. You need to again go to forest and make a wood, and you need to go with a forest stations and make a plywood, and you need to dig a ground and make a steel and make a cement. Everything will be again come. The reason everyone will be here, everyone will be having a contract of 10 years to occupy the same space means that the entire thing will be 50% minimized because every 5 years you will change a place means you need to again excavate the things and everything. So if you do it for 10 years, definitely it's almost 50% reduced. After 10 years, definitely you can move and going to build a new environment because the design is changed, people mindset is changed. So the second one is in some cases, you are relive after 10 years or 5 years, what will happen? The interior fit outs are in the same way, the doors and the structural elements and the furniture, everyone's here. Here, if you save minimum 50% of structural walls and the roof and the floor, if you use the same thing, then means interior means we will give you points. In the same way, the lead is having a credit for using a reuse or salvage material to using as a old. Here two options. First one, you may use a old furniture. You may use it in a new office or someone office, or else you may purchase a new product which is having a reuse or salvage content, or you may directly go to purchase from the recycling vendor where he have already captured the old chairs from someone office, and you may use the old chair from someone office or our old office man, you will get a credit. That's what this thing cover. And then actually the environmental product declaration. Actually, this is the product declaration is not just like that. The product does not having any global warming impact, does not taking the more resource. Actually, environmental product declaration is you may know, you may easily know what are the products you used and what are the consequences the projects are faced. For example, the EPD is just told that if you use a plastic means how much energy consumed to make this plastic and how much water is taken, how the resources are wasted or how the raw materials are used. All the things will come under environmental product declaration. Here you have the thing from excavation to making the product, what are the energy and what are the process are involved, how it is harmful to environment in a positive or negative. These kind of details which come in here. You need to select this kind of material, minimum of 10 products from 3 different manufacturers. You just take a, for example, Saint Gobain and other material have more EPD material certificate. You can't take 10 products from Saint Gobain. Here they are giving a chance and generate the economic for everyone. However, you are going to purchase EPD material, purchase from 3 different vendors. Then what will happen? Everyone is thinking that if you do EPD certificate for our product, 2 things are good for us. One, they will get their things sell. Then another things that we will also come to know what are the issues are available with this product. Because in the EPD certificate, it's not like that the product is good or not. The EPD certificate is simply told that how the product is affected the environment, how sustainability is maintained in the product, or how the sustainability is avoided in the, everything will be covered. In here, we will give additional, the lead is giving additional point to who have a concern about to reducing the global warming to water consumption, means we will get additional points in this. Then sourcing of raw material. Actually, if you give a great opportunity to local peoples means 2 things are better. One, your surrounded environmental will get benefited. In the same way, the local economy will grow. But in the environmental way, we see in a different perception, the lead see in a different perception. The reason is, if you purchase some material, it will come from 1,000 miles away from you means, what will happen? Definitely the travel is a big issue, because at the travel, every kilometer, the heavy vehicle, air movement, air or ship movement, what will happen? Definitely the carbon is going to emit to air. The emitted carbon, what will happen? The emitted carbon will definitely give a greenhouse gas emission and global warming. The global warming again give the bad healthing effect. Again, the ozone layer is depleted. Again, the heat is come to environment. Again, there is a global warming happen. So this is a circular host effects. To avoid this, if you purchase locally, then you will definitely get a benefit. Here, you just don't need to purchase local product. There are some different category. The product must be excavated. Excavated means it start digging and it must be traveled to manufacturing site, and from where you buy, it must be from your site to the product place and its manufacturing next to it. Everything must be within a 160-kilometer radius of from the project building. Then only it will suitable. For example, the product may be manufactured in US, it will come in Chennai. If you purchase at Chennai, it does not come as a local product. The local product have a clear declaration where the material is excavated, where it is manufacturing, where it's traveled, everything must be covered. Then material ingredients. Actually, here we are speaking about the excavation, everything. Here is what are the material used in this to make a brick, to make a chair. What are the materials materials used? How the each and every material used have a different concern about environment, because there are some ratings are available, same like EPD. There are something like that HPD, Health Product Declaration. and green tag certified, Gradle to Gradle. Actually, Gradle to Gradle, the name have a different opinion because the Cradle is the starting point. In the same way, if it is reused, means it's come under Cradle to Cradle. If for product, it comes under Gradle to Gate. For if you can't able to reuse like tire means it comes under Gradle to Grave. Here we need to consider the product which having a reusable or recyclable capacity only comes under Gradle to Cradle and fixed mass certificates. Here also the same, you need to get a 10 product at least to get a points. Then the indoor environmental quality. The indoor environmental quality we already discussed it, but we will tell it again. First, the indoor environmental, we have two concerns. First one, we need to provide fresh air. In any IT building or any office places, if you go with some person office, everyone have this air conditioning to make the customer feel happy and they are also feel happy. But no one is thinking about fresh air because in some peoples are having doesn't have aware about the benefits of fresh air. In a recent survey, the US is observed that 35% of absenteeism is happened due to the fresh air. If it does not provide enough fresh air to the space, means 1/3 of your people will be absent. The reason is health concern. If it does not provide proper fresh air, you may be affected by lung disease and some other disease. Because if you in the same room, you are breathing the same air, your friends also in the same room, your supplier also in the same room, everyone is breathing, his contaminant part will come to you, and your contaminant things will come to you. If there is a issues like COVID will come in, it's spread in a positive way. So the lead is having a mandatory requirement. However, the commissioning on the fresh air requirement is a mandatory for lead. You may have 100 points. You may eligible for platinum plus, but your project does not even get a certification from lead if you does not give a fresh air. Because the fresh air is the main thing in a lead. So at every CFO or architect, you need to provide the fresh air for the occupant. It's really giving you more productivity. If you avoid 35% of the absenteeism, your overhead will become reduced to 20 to 25%. Then what will happen? Your profit will definitely grow. Okay. Then the 52.2. Actually, it's about comfort. Actually, everyone have a different comfort. For example, if you located in a office where who have a coat suit and every getup, they just need a 23 or 22 temperature because the clothing insulation is different. If you are in a home, you just having a loose wears, then the temperature may be 26. It's comfortable because their cloth insulation is different. In the same way, he may be having a different location. He may be in a corner of office. Everyone must have a thermal comfort. That's why the design is supposed to be done. Then there are some standard for CO2 sense, CO2 level, because everyone in office space is utilizing the fresh air. However, if the room is designed for 20 people, if the room is occupied by 60 people, what will happen? Definitely the CO2 level will rise. In that meantime, the alarm and everything to be happened. So the CO2 sensor must be monitor your entire outdoor air to sense whether the CO2 level is higher or not. Then this is indoor air quality, how the system is working. Because in general practice, at the time you are entering to office, you are just entering to office means you may have a dust and everything. Here we have enrichment system. It will absorb the dust and the minute solid particle. Then there is a filtration. The filtration is because the generally dust come from humans and fresh air because the two things comes outside from building. So at the time the filtration is there, the entire air inserted or going to your building is get greatly filtered with MERV. Actually, MERV, it's a micro level filter. It does not allow even a mild, not even seen in a micrographic particles also get suspended. You can't even see in microscope. These kind of material also avoided in a MERV filter. Then you need to provide fresh air additional to lead because the assay will give a basic standard for fresh air. Here we need to give additional 30% fresh air. It may again increase your energy load. However, we are having energy recovery ventilators and treated fresh air unit to avoid these issues. Then choosing a low VOC material. Actually, the low VOC material, everyone have some knowledge. The reason is actually it's generally deal with the paints, adhesive, sealants, everything will be comes here. The reason is the paints having odor smell and the VOC content is suspected that it may be a reason for carcinogenic diseases like cancer. It does not yet proved, but some research told that it's a major cause for making people to affected by carcinogenic disease like cancer. Okay, so in general practice, if you go with corporate high leader level paints, they are also reduce their VOC level. Here lead also gives some level for paints for 50 or 150 gram per 150 microgram per liter. These kind of things will be comes in a detail level in a later presentation. In here we just need to prepare the paint without VOC content. However, there are some possibility for paint with VOC content. So you need to select what are the maximum possibility to avoid or with the less VOC content to get your occupant, and everything will be healthier. Because if your occupant is healthy, definitely his mind also healthy. He also productive, and your productivity will rise. What will happen? Definitely will get more profited. So your occupant health and mind, everything will be covered clearly. Then the next one is the construction indoor. At time of construction, you need to cover your entire duct and frequent site cleaning to manage your material without smoking. These kind of things are considered. In general practice, this kind of things are written in the board, did not consider. Here we have a proper check and having a site inspection, everything. So you need to have a detailed document how these kind of things are done. You need to submit a proof also. Then this is a flush out. Actually, what is flush out? Flush out is actually if you go with the painted room, the new is newly painted. If you go with, you will have some different comfort level. And the comfort is not a good level; it's in a bad level. The reason is there are some smell, and it may be possible for VOC content in the air and everything. It must be avoided. It may be mingled with the fresh air. If you constantly supply the fresh air into the room, what will happen? The entire air available in the room will go out. If it is go out for 14,000 cubic feet per square feet, for each square feet, you need to supply 40,000 cubic feet by mechanical fans with some temperature and humidity level. Because if you use the high temperature into room, means the painting and the interior the decoration will have some other effects like moisture or heat issues happen. So you need to maintain some unique temperature and relative humidity, and to do the flush out continuously. If you do it, means definitely the indoor environmental quality level will rise. Otherwise, you may simply told that, no, we have more windows and operable windows, just keep our windows open. Then there is an option available. The thing is, you just need to prove by doing some air quality test. Once the air quality test is over, if you compare with, you don't need to do anything like flush out. But if you didn't do the flush out, you definitely need to do the air quality testing. And this is a air quality testing. There are some parameters. In here, we are telling something about interior lighting, because the interior lighting have two aspects. First one is its energy consumption, because the energy is the main part we first covered. In here, we are told about the interior lighting design and how the lumens per watts. For example, first I told the 80 watts per lumens is comes. Now the 125 watts, per watts 125 lumens output is came. So here we have different concern. It's about productivity and occupant comfort. First, the color rendering index is like that. When you see the light directly, how it's affect you. These kind of things comes under current the color rendering. The second one is lamp life. For example, for the lower cost, if you go with the lower life equipments, what will happen? If you go with the higher cost, the equipment maybe have a different life up to 25 years or 50 years. If you go with low cost, it will be only 5 years. Due to your budget concern, you go with this, means what will happen? You need to again and again purchase the LED lights. Then what will happen? Definitely you need to have a raw material, then waste. The best thing is, if you have durable material, means you don't need to think about the raw material excavation. You don't need to think about waste. If you go with the low life or less life product, means the two things. First, you need to purchase every time. Then you need to have a concern about how the waste is going to handle. Then how the new product is comes. Because at the time of making the new process, definitely there are some raw materials are excavated, and it's going to process it. The energy is going to use it. The water is going to use it. Then surface reflectance. Actually, the last three things are the surface reflectance and wall to wood space and ceiling to space. Why these things are tell means, actually, if you have a dark paint in the room, what will happen? It does not reflect anything. You need to provide more light. If you provide a white surface around your entire facility, mean what will happen? Definitely, you don't need to put more light In this, here two benefits. First one, you don't need to spend more on electricity. You don't need to spend more on light purchasing. So if you select a good color with a greater reflectivity means what will happen? Definitely, you don't need to spend more amount. So these are the things considered here. The surface reflectance and surface illuminance ratio, everything will comes under how the light is reflected. If the light is reflected more means you need to just keep some lights to get more lighting, the lumens. Then the last one will be daylight. Actually, daylight have a multi benefits. First one, if you have a daylight means definitely you come to know there is a window. If you just go with window and you may be connected with the outdoor environment, then it's giving a greater feel and making you feel relaxed. Okay. Then there are another benefits. If you're using if you're having enough windows and daylight means you don't need to switch on your electrical light. If you switch on the electrical light, you need to consider the occupancy sensor, you need to consider IoT, you need to consider motion sensor, everything. If you use daylight, you do not need to consider anything because it's naturally available. You may use curtain if you want to avoid. So at the time of daylight, you need to have a concern about glass design and over design because if your windows is generally located in the east and west part means definitely the glare will come, the heat will come. So you need to have a more concern about the selection of glass and everything. If you select the glasses in south and north side, generally the light will come, but the heat won't come. This is a specific thing about the daylight. So the architect need to consider more windows in north and south side and having more concern about using daylight instead of artificial light. Then something called quality views. It may be look new. Actually, the views are just like that. The daylight is a direct benefit. We can get using the light instead of electrical light. The views is a indirect benefit. How it's indirectly benefited? The thing is, if you're sitting in office, you just have a again and again you are seeing the same document. You have a frustration. You just see the outside window. There is a greater tree. It's bending for the. It's bending for the air and for the wind it will be greatly moved. It's looked very nice. Or you may see there is a plate is going, or maybe in a out there is a animals or the bats are looking. It's somewhat changing your minds. Some actually it have a different perspective. Someone think that they does not have a conscious and these things, but here lead is thinking that the interior fit out, everyone is need a clear and peace of mind. Then only he will think in a smart and lateral thing. So we need this kind of minor distraction to avoid a frustration and some kind of thing because people are sit and do the same work again and again. These kind of things are because if you see in a corner, you will clearly know that how the person is just see the tree and nearest building and everything. So in a final, if you go with the indoor design, the noise is a predominant issue. For example, in noise, there are three categories are available. First one is the background noise from HVAC or your equipment. If you're having a chiller or a generator in a room means how it will again and again generate a more noise, then you need to either enclose it or having a proper standard to maintain the HVAC background or the equipment background noise in a minimized level. Then other two things are available. First one is yeah, reverberation time. The reverberation time is just like that. If you have glass doors around the facility, what will happen if you just put a single coin to below? What will happen in the entire facility? It's again and again reverberate because no material here to observe. So if you go with the theaters and some greater acoustic performance center, you'll have a cloths and some workplaces just to observe. Because if you go with your own house without furniture, it will give a echo. The reason is reverberation. If you have furniture, you does not have a reverberation. So this kind of material must be designed. And the last one is sound transmission class. Actually, sound transmission class is just like that. When you are in a room, in the nearest room, what you're speaking in that room will be hearing means it will be sound transmission. For example, if in an interior fit out, generally you have gypsum board and wood partition. You does not have a concrete partition because it's an interior fit out. In here, you have to more concern about the transmission. The person who speak in meeting room voice does not go to the person who in another meeting room or in another study room. This is how you need to design your walls and sound transmission materials because the sound may be transmitted via wall and the ceiling. These are the major perimeters available to transmit the sites. So these kind of things you need to consider either with sound absorbing material or which of the material is arresting or does not allow the sound, this kind of material must be considered. Then there is innovation. In general, innovation, the name itself have a meaning. If you do anything in an innovative or in an extraordinary or in an expert manner, it will comes under innovation. So in innovation, generally, we have a point for green education. Green education means you are doing something and you need to educate the other facilities, or you need to educate the visitor who are visiting your factory. You just need to arrange a green tour for them, how your facility is managed, like energy and water and daylight, how you are having a greater purchase policy, everything will be come here. Then there are exemplary performance. For example, we are in a lead, they simply tell you need to reduce 50% of water. You are using 100% of the water by rainwater harvesting or STP water for this thing, definitely you will get a exemplary performance. For daylight, in general practice, you need a 90% daylight for regularly occupied space. If you do it with 100% of the facility, you will operate 100% of the facility with daylight, definitely you will get an extra point. Then there are something called pilot credits. Actually, the pilot credits are generally the credit which are comes in next rating system are ready to use. It may be used only one credit instead of other credits. For example, the daylights are generally needed in occupied area and regularly occupied area. If you use the same thing in your other unoccupied areas like restrooms, corridor, and these things means definitely you will get this point. Then lead AP, actually in Innovel, everyone is a lead AP. In the same way, if there is a lead AP associated with design means definitely you will get this. Actually, why they are giving 1 point for lead AP means lead AP is a recognition you get once you have a greater knowledge about design and the green building practices. It is having a general awareness about every process for lead AP. So if you incorporate lead AP in each stage of design, definitely you will get a point. Thanks for all your Is there any question? Kindly let me know. Right? There are some level of water, there are some kind of water scarcity is there. If you do some credit or you are attending some credits in water efficiency, for example, if you save some amount of water, irrespective of what points you are getting, if you save some level above the baseline, you will get a regional priority credit. Then there are some regional priority available. For example, you are located in a town or the urban areas. Here, you can't be able to provide a greater open space for the entire thing. I am asking, telling something about the base building. So, if you provide open space in the area, they come to know that you have concern about the open space. You are giving some amount of open space for biodiversity, so you will claim that point. For some areas, there are some issues for rainwater harvesting. If you do rainwater harvesting, irrespective of what points you are getting, if you do and attend the minimum level, you will get a regional priority. So in general practice, energy and commissioning have a regional priority. Why? Because the commissioning activity is a big process, it's mandatory. If you go with the enhanced commissioning with that party, definitely you will get a regional priority. So that's why the regional priority is designed based on global regions and other areas. The regional priority will change based on the scarcity or the current problems available in the particular area or regions or a continent. Is there any other question? You are asking about flush out. Actually, two types of flush out is there. First one is a natural flush out. Okay. Second one is a first one is a natural flush out. Second one is a mechanical flush out. Actually, in the natural flush out, you need to provide a document for whether the activity is done and whether it will reach the benefits. The reason is you are doing that, you are doing some work, means everyone is tell that you write an exam and clear the degree. Same way, if you do that, if you tell that I'm studying, I have a knowledge, means you need to write an exam. In the same way, if you do a natural flush out, you need to submit a air quality report, how your air performance is there. In the same way, the mechanical flush out is like that, it's a proof. If you do the flush out with mechanical device like fans or AHU, the range is about 14,000 CFM, sorry, 40,000 cubic feet of air per square feet, means definitely you will achieve this rating. The reason is whether you do it or prove it. Is there any other question? That's all right. If you have any question, kindly Okay, if you have any concern or doubts or anything, kindly reach us in the LinkedIn in a Innoval group page, and I have an ID called Thalisalvam Punuswamy. My ID also you can use reach it by LinkedIn. We have a website and at the www.innovalgroup.com. For who does not attend this presentation or going in a midway, you may be reach us at Innoval Group YouTube page. Here we will upload the raw footage. You can see the presentation here. Thanks for your all audience. Hope it's a great